Electric cars are great until a body of water is involved. Last month, a billionaire named Angela Chao spent her last moments frantically calling her friends for help as her Tesla began sinking in a pond on her property. On the weekend of February 10th, Angela invited several of her closest friends to fly in from New York and visit her at her 900-acre property in Texas. The purpose of that visit was to celebrate the Chinese New Year and get that one-on-one friend time while her husband was away that weekend. It's around 11:30 that night on Saturday when Angela and her friends have a beautiful dinner at her 10-bedroom guest house. After she says goodnight to her friends and she walks outside, she notices that it's cold, so instead of walking back to the main house on the property, she decides to drive her Tesla back to the house instead, which is about a 4-minute drive. But as Angela goes to make a 3-point turn, she accidentally puts the car in reverse instead of drive, causing her car to go over the embankment and fall into this larger pond that's on the property. The moment the car hits the water, it quickly begins to sink. Horrifically, given the electric car that she's driving, it short circuits from being in the water, so she's unable to roll down the car's windows to free herself. And given the pressure of the water, she's unable to open the doors. In a panic, Angela quickly calls one of her friends who's staying on site at the guest house, and they all quickly run to the pond. One of her friends even jumps into the pond and starts to try to break the windows, and all the attempts to break the laminated or tempered Tesla glass were unsuccessful because it's so strong. Typically, when a car is sinking, you have about 60 seconds to get out before your odds start to diminish greatly. Years ago, that was enough time to roll down the windows, but now, given the remote location of the property, rescue workers cannot get there until 24 minutes after the initial call. By the time the car was pulled out of the pond, it was too late. This situation is terrifying, and this is why years ago I bought one of these window breakers and seatbelt cutters. This is not a sponsored post, just make that clear, but I just wanted to share because if you need something like this, it could come in handy. But if you're a fan of all things interesting and horrific, follow along because that's what I make videos on.